Now, why would you compare a 200RR two-stroke versus an XR200 old-school Honda? Are you crazy? I already know what you guys are thinking, but there's more to this video than just a comparison, and if you like the whole picture, then it's best to watch this entire video because someone might be in the same scenario as me. Or maybe I can establish some kind of an idea. Now, I already have a TE250i Husqvarna/KTM, of course, that I rent out in my rental company. It's been abused, crashed so many times that I don't even want to ride it anymore, which is expected. It's a rental. Unfortunately, folks are not going to care about your machines or equipment. So I'm just in the search of a new dirt bike that I can call mine and not rent out. Now, for months, I'm trying to figure out what I want. I've been looking at a KLX 300R, the Cross Trainer, 300 TBI KTMs, or even the brand new 150 XCW KTM, which I believe weighs around just right around 200 pounds. Or perhaps go back to maybe even another 250 TPI for my own. But there is just one bike that I love riding and I fell in love with, and I feel like I can go anywhere with this bike because it's just so dang lightweight.
Cold. I think it's steep. So the only issue with the Honda, the power. Once you start climbing that stuff, the initial power. Full throttle right here. Oh shit.
The Honda XR200R. Now you have to remember, I ride in higher elevation, so unfortunately there is a pretty decent power loss, especially when you start riding above 8,000 feet elevation. Even my TE250i starts feeling like a little 150cc. Now, I really love riding the XR200 Honda, more so than my TE250i. I don't know if it's a mix of the low seat height and how lightweight it is. On top of that, the key word is confidence inspiring, where I can confidently go down to some really stupid terrain and just play around with it, knowing I won't get stuck or even high-centered on a weird, kind of off-balance state. But it's just that. It's a play bike. I'm looking essentially for a play bike, but some kind of reserve for somewhat aggressive riding too. But unfortunately, at my weight and elevation, I do weigh around 220 pounds. It does have some limitations. Now don't get me wrong, the XR200, there's a reason why I ride this bike all the time versus my two-stroke. Now you can possibly do some mods to it, like put on some XR250 forks, add some disc brakes, and a big bore kit with a lower gear ratio, and you're golden. It's going to be a very difficult challenge to beat this XR200. The only one that really comes on to mind is either the Beta 125RR or the Beta 200RR, but in this purpose here, I'm looking at the Beta 200RR.
So over here, we just took it on this easy trail. At the beginning, I'm gonna say this is like very, very responsive. I like it. It's very easy to ride. It's very predictable. But just because it's a 200 does not mean it can do like the slow stuff. It has a lot of low end strut. It's a great machine.
Now before I can talk about these two bikes, I kind of have to go over my current situation so you guys can more or less see where I'm coming from. Lately, I've been solo riding a lot. And if you solo ride a lot, you know your riding style definitely changes. You play it more safe, you stick around to closer areas, you take a lot less risks, but at the same time, you want your skills to improve, you want to explore that mountain single track, maybe you want to at least try out that ledge one day, just play on it for a little bit, see how it feels. You want to be able to take these bikes anywhere without having to worry of getting into a weird bind and getting stuck. Yep, I've been stuck before. But yet, able to be confident in some unexplored gnarly terrain. And to be honest, the XR200 honestly is just that. This area right here at my current skill level, I wouldn't even try this on a TE250i, but funny enough, here I am with an XR200. Although I can't do it smoothly, I'm just playing around here just to get the feel of the terrain, because I know it's so easy to handle this bike. Now, I can't describe our trail system in Colorado until you are on it. Some are super gnarly, and some are worry-free, but you will never know what you will get into in Colorado if you have an exploring side of you. We have thousands of miles of trails. Perfect example, this single track over here. I would love to do it on my own, but I have no idea what lies ahead. I've been on some single tracks where I needed to crawl the bike up because at my current skill level, I just can't double blip or whatever it is, or put my feet down in order to maneuver the TE250i. And to be honest, I would rather bring my XR200 here versus the TE250i while solo exploring, because I can easily pop the front over a ledge and just walk it over. Versus my TE250i, it's going to be more of a struggle for me, especially if I'm solo riding. I've been in a lot of situations where I couldn't get up like this ledge or this incline, and even getting off the dirt bike and pushing up my two-stroke, it was just too heavy, it was too big. Another thing too is I can kind of always pick it up and even turn it around with ease if I'm solo exploring. And that's the whole point, skill level. All enduro riders and explorers know exactly how fast things can go south when solo riding. If your buddies weren't there to help you lift that bike or get over that obstacle, you would be in trouble for sure. And that is the point of this video. Someone in the same path as me. Now the XR200 does have some limitations. The two biggest factors is suspension and of course the power at our elevation in Colorado. When I test rode the Beta 200RR, it hit me. I was like, this is crazy. It's just like the XR200 Honda as far as nimbleness and just that confidence inspiring bike when you need to get it over something, except just way better. Just as nimble feeling with the exception of a slightly taller seat, except if you are 6 feet tall or taller, it is still going to feel like you can manhandle this bike like it's nothing. If you get yourself into a bind, that is. To pick it up and move it around was literally almost nothing. The only downside of the Beta 200RR is actually just the price point compared to the Honda XR200R. But in my opinion, I think it's definitely worth it if you are in the same situation as me. Now the only bike I kinda have my eye on versus the Beta 200RR is actually the TY125 Sherco Trial / Long Ride, where you can remove the seat as needed. That honestly would be my preferred bike for solo exploring, but have no idea on its power, suspension, and yet along the comfort of the seat when you want to sit down at times. Not all the times we're standing up 24/7. Now some of you would say, well, if your skill level does not allow you to ride some gnarly terrain, why do you even really care about suspension versus the XR200? Well, there are some things I am able to do, and I believe the travel length of the suspensions of the forks of the XR200 would not make it safe, especially with the impact, such as these obstacles here. I would never do it with an XR200, but I would do it with the TE250i and possibly the Beta 200RR, just because that firmer, that suspension travel, that firm feel, the way that those bikes are designed. Now you can kind of see where I'm getting at. The main thing is I think the TE250i is a great bike for trail riding. But someone like me needs to, I would say, drop it down a level to get a bit more confident in the gnarly terrain if you're solo exploring, I would say. Yet, help get a feeling for these unknown enduro trails, just to get a feel for them, as we like to call it. Anyhow, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Maybe some of you guys have ridden that TY125 and can shed some light on that bike. Anyhow, hopefully I'll catch you guys on my next video.